Water purification. Water purification is the process of removing contaminants from a raw water source. The goal is to produce water for specific purpose with treatment profile designed. Most water is purified for human consumption as drinking water. Water purification may also be designed for a variety of other purposes, including to meet requirements of medical, pharmacology, chemical and industrial applications. It may be carried out by a variety of methods, including treatments with ultraviolet light, filtration, water softening, reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, molecular stripping, deionization, and carbon treatment. Water purification may remove such contaminants as particulate, sand, suspended particles of organic materials, bacteria, algae, viruses, fungi, and toxic metals such as lead, copper, chromium. Minerals such as calcium, silica, magnesium may also be removed. Some purification may be elective in the purification process, including the removal of smell, hydrogen sulfide, remediation, taste, mineral extraction, and color from iron encapsulation. Industrial water purification. Industrial and domestic use. Dissolved minerals may affect suitability of water for a range of industrial and domestic purposes. The most familiar of these is presence of ions of calcium and magnesium which interfere with the cleaning action of soap and can form hard sulfate and soft carbonate deposits in water heaters or boilers. Hard water may be softened to remove these ions. The softening process often substitutes sodium cations. Hard water may be preferable to soft water for human consumption since health problems have been associated with excess sodium and with calcium and magnesium deficiencies. Softening decreases nutrition and may increase cleaning effectiveness. Various industries, wastes and effluents can also pollute the water quality in receiving bodies of water. Ion exchange process is most commonly used to remove the hardness of water and to substitute the sodium cation. In addition to drinking and domestic uses, industries also consume significant amount of water. Chemical, petroleum, food processing, textile industries, for example, require water for manufacturing process, heating, cooling, washing, rinsing, and other applications. Such industrial systems require treated water, and the lack of appropriate purification can lead to issues such as scaling, corrosion, deposition, bacterial growth within piping or processing equipment. In addition to conventional water treatment processes, industrial water purification may involve specialized techniques such as electrode ionization, ion exchange, membrane systems, ozone treatment, evaporation, ultraviolet radiation. Technology selection depends upon the raw water quality and the intended industrial use. There is general steps for water purification for domestic use. In the first step, which is the aeration, raw water is first collected in large aeration tanks and the water is aerated by bubbling compressed air through perforated pipes. Aeration removes bad odors and carbon dioxide. It also removes metals such as iron and manganese by precipitating them as their receptive hydroxide. In the next step, the raw water after aeration enters into the storage or settling. Aerated water is then placed in settling tank and stored for up to 14 days. During storage, about 90% of suspended solids settle down within 24 hours and the water becomes clear. Certain heavier toxic chemicals also settle down during storage. Similarly, pathogenic bacteria die and bacterial count decreases by 90% in the first 5 to 7 days of storage. During storage, organic matter present in water is oxidized by microorganisms. Similarly, ammonia present is oxidized into nitrate by microorganisms during storage. Now the next step is coagulation. Water from storage tank is then placed in coagulation tank, and then some precipitating agents such as alum, lime added in water and mixed. The precipitating agent form precipitate of aluminum hydroxide when dissolved in water. Suspended solids absorb on the surface of precipitate, so gradually mass of precipitate becomes heavier and finally settle down. The technique is used to remove very light suspended solids that do not settle by themselves during storage. Furthermore, if negatively charged colloidal impurities are present, they are neutralized by aluminum plus 3 ions and settle down. Now the next is filtration. Partially clarified water is then passed through sand gravity filters, which remove 98 to 99% of microorganisms and other impurities. Sand gravity water filters is Sand filters is a rectangular tank in which filter bed is made up of 3 layers. Top layer fine layer of 1 meter thick, middle layer 0.3 to 0.5 meter thick layer of coarse sand, and bottom layer 0.3 to 0.5 meter thick layer of gravel. There is a collection tank at the bottom of the filter bed to collect filter water. During filtration, filter bed soon gets covered with creamy layer called vital layer. Vital layer consists of thread-like algae and bacteria. During filtration, microorganisms present in the vital layer oxidize organic and other matter present in water. For example, ammonia is present, it is oxidized into nitrate. Vital layer also helps in filtration of microbial cells. If water contains unpleasant odor, activated carbon may be placed in filter bed that removes bad odor. So the next step is disinfection. The filtered water is finally purified by using disinfectants. For example, chlorine disinfection kills pathogenic as well as other microorganisms in water. After disinfection, water is pumped into overhead tank for subsequent domestic distribution. The vast majority of communities rely on freshwater resources for drinking and domestic water supplies. However, with shrinking freshwater reserves and rising water demand, complicated by natural factors such as floods and climate change impact, several countries have begun to utilize ocean and inland seas as alternative water sources. Desalination technologies that remove salts and minerals from seawater are emerging to produce potable water suitable for drinking and domestic purposes. Reverse osmosis, vacuum distillation, multi-stage flash distillation, freeze-thaw, electrodialysis are gaining importance for salt water purification. Such processes involve high energy consumption and more expensive than conventional freshwater treatment processes. Numerous efforts are underway to make desalination methods cost-effective and economically viable. Groundwater, usually supplied as a well water, is typically more economical choice than surface water coming from rivers, lakes, streams as a source of drinking, as it is pre-filtered by the aquifer from which it is extracted. Over large areas of the world, aquifers are recharged as part of the hydrologic cycle. In more arid regions, water from aquifer will have limited output and can take thousands of years to recharge. Surface water is a typically raw water source used to make drinking water where it is abundant and where groundwater is unavailable for poor quality. Soil and rock layer naturally filters the groundwater to high degree of clarity before it is pumped to the treatment plant. Such water may emerge as springs or may be extracted from boreholes or wells. Deep groundwater is generally of very high bacteriological activity. For example, pathogenic bacteria such as pathogenic protozoa, for example, cryptosporidium. But the water typically is rich in dissolved solids, especially carbonates, sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Depending on the strata through which the water has flowed, other ions may be present including chloride and bicarbonate. There may be requirement to reduce iron or manganese content of this water to make it pleasant for drinking, cooking and laundry use. Disinfection may also be required where groundwater recharge is practiced. It is equivalent to lowland surface water for treatment purposes. Since water emerging from shallow groundwater is usually abstracted from wells or boreholes, the bacteriological quality can be variable depending on the nature of catchment. A variety of soluble materials may be present including potentially toxic metals such as zinc, copper, arsenic. Arsenic contamination of groundwater is a serious problem in some areas, notably from shallow wells, typically located in the headwaters of river system and upload rivers, reservoirs. The majority of water must be pumped from its source or directed into pipes or holding tanks. To avoid adding contaminants to water, this physical infrastructure must be made from appropriate materials and constructed so that accidental contamination doesn't occur. The first step in purifying surface water is to remove large debris such as sticks, leaves, trash and other large particles which may interfere with subsequent purification steps. Most deep groundwater doesn't need screening before other purification steps. Storage. Water from rivers may also be stored in bank-side reservoirs for periods between a few days and many months to allow natural biological purification to take place. This is especially important if treatment is by flow sand filters. Storage reservoirs also provide a buffer against short periods or to allow water supply to be maintained during transitory pollution incidents in source water. Many water rich in hardness salts are treated with soda ash, sodium carbonate to precipitate calcium carbonate out utilizing the common ion effect in a step known as preconditioning step. Now the next is pre-chlorination. In many plants, the incoming water was chlorinated to minimize the growth of falling organisms on the pipework and tanks. Because of the potential adverse quality effects, this has been discontinued. Widely varied techniques are available to remove the fine solids, microorganisms and some dissolved inorganic and organic material. The choice of the method will depend on the quality of water being treated, the cost of treatment process and quality standards expected of the processed water. pH adjustment is necessary in water purification. Distilled water has an average pH of 7 and seawater has an average pH of 8.3, slightly alkaline. If the water is acidic, lower than 7, lime or soda ash is added to raise the pH. Lime is more common of the two additives because it is cheap, but it also aids to the resulting water hardness, making the water slightly alkaline ensures that coagulation and flocculation process work effectively and also help to minimize the risk of lead being dissolved from lead pipes and lead solder in pipe fitting. Coagulation, flocculation has been already discussed in previously slides. After separating most flocculated material, the water is filtered as final step to remove remaining suspended particles and unsettled flocculated particles. The most common type of filter is the rapid sand filter. Water moves vertically through sand, which often has a layer of activated carbon or anthracite coal above the sand. The top layer removes organic compounds which contribute to taste and odor. The space between sand particles is larger than the smallest suspended particles, so simple filtration is not enough. Most particles pass through surface layer but are trapped in pore spaces or adhere to sand particles. Effective filtration extends into the depth of the filter. This property of filter is a key to its operation. If the top layer of sand were to block all particles, the filter would quickly clog. To clean the filter, water is passed quickly upward through the filter opposite the normal direction, which is known as back flushing or backwashing, to remove embedded particles. Prior to this, compressed air may be blown up through the bottom of the filter to break up the compacted filter media to aid in backwashing process. This is known as air scoring. This contaminated water can be disposed of along with sludge from sedimentation basin, or it can be recycled by mixing with raw water entering the plant. Some water treatment plants employ pressure filters. These work on the same principle as rapid gravity filters, differing that the filter medium is enclosed in a steel vessel and water is forced through it under pressure. Semi-permeable membrane, which act as a filter. Membrane filters are an effective form of tertiary treatment when it is desired to reuse the water for industry, for limited domestic purposes, or before discharging the water into river that is used by towns further downstream. They are widely used in industry for particularly beverage preparation. Slow sand filters and rapid sand filters are most widely used. Slow sand filters may be used where there is sufficient land and space. These rely on biological treatment process for their action rather than physical filtration. Slow sand filters are carefully constructed using graded layers of sand with coarest at the top and finest at the base. Drains at the base convey treated water away for disinfection. Filtration depends on the development of a thin biological layer on the surface of filter. An effective slow sand filter may remain in service for many weeks or even months if pre-treatment is well designed and produce an excellent quality of water which physical method of treatment rarely achieved. Ultrafiltration membranes are relatively new development that use polymer film with chemically formed microscopic pores that can be used in place of granular media to filter water effectively without addition of coagulants. The type of membrane media determines how much pressure is needed to drive the water through and what size of microorganism can filtered out. Particles with diameter greater than 100 microns such as fine sand are removed through sand filtration. Often combination of several sizes of filters are used: microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, hyperfiltration, and also reverse osmosis process used to decontaminate water. Flocculation. Flocculation is a process which starts with clarifying the water. Clarifying means removing any turbidity or color so that water is clear and colorless. Clarification is done by causing a precipitate to form in water. Initially, the precipitate forms a very small particles But as the water is generally steeped, these particles stick together to form bigger particles. This process is sometimes called flocculation. Many of the small particles that were originally present in the raw water absorb onto the surface of these small particles and so get incorporated into larger particles that coagulation produces. In this way, the coagulated precipitate takes most of the suspended matter out of the water and is then filtered off, generally by passing the mixture through a coarse sand filter or sometimes through a mixture of sand and granulated anthracite acting as a filter. Anthracite is a high quality coal. Anthracite, with its high carbon content, is able to absorb much of the organic matter present in solution, and this can remove color, odor and taste from the water. A precipitate that is widely used to clarify water is iron hydroxide. This is formed first by adjusting the pH of the incoming water to above 7. pH adjustment is done by adding lime or sodium hydroxide, then by adding a solution of iron compound such as iron chloride, ferric chloride. Formation of iron hydroxide is extremely insoluble and forms even at pH as low as 7. Aluminum hydroxide is also used as a flocculating precipitate. Water exiting the flocculation basin may enter the sedimentation basin, also called a clarifier or settling basin. It is a large tank with slow flow, allowing flocculated particles to settle to the bottom. The sedimentation basin is best located close to the flocculation basin so that transit between doesn't permit settlement or flocculated particles breakdown. Sedimentation basin can be in the shape of rectangle where water flows from end to end, or is circular where flow is from center outward. Sedimentation basin outflow is typically over a wire so that only a top layer from the sediment exit. The amount of flocculated material that settles out of water is dependent on the time the water spends in the basin and depth of the basin. The retention time of the water must be balanced against the cost of a large basin. What is retention time? Basically, retention time is the time that water spent into the basin. The minimum clarifier retention time is normally 4 hours. A deep basin will allow more flocculated particles to settle out than a shallow basin. This is because large particles settle faster than the smaller particles. So large particles bump into and integrate smaller particles as they settle. In effect, large particles sweep vertically through the basin and clean out smaller particles on their way to the bottom. As particles settle to the bottom of the basin, a layer of sludge forms on the floor of tank. This layer of sludge must be removed and treated. The amount of sludge that is generated is significant, often 3 to 5% of the total volume of water that is treated. The cost of treating and disposing of sludge can be a significant part of the operating cost of water treatment plant. The tank must be equipped with mechanical cleaning device that continually clean the bottom of the tank, or tank can be taken out of services when the bottom needs to be cleaned. Disinfection is normally the last step in purifying drinking water. Water is disinfected to kill any pathogens as disease causing microorganisms which pass through the filter. Possible pathogens include viruses, bacteria including Escherichia coli, protozoans including Cryptosporidia. In most developed countries, public water supplies are required to maintain a residual disinfecting agent throughout the water distribution system, in which water may remain for days before reaching consumer. Following the introduction of any chemical disinfecting agent, the water is held in temporary storage, often called contact tank or clear well, to allow the disinfection to accomplish. Chlorination is a disinfection process. Use of chlorine or its compounds such as chloramines or chlorine dioxide. Chlorine is a strong oxidant that kills many microorganisms. Because chlorine is a toxic gas, there is a danger of release associated with its use. The problem is avoided by the use of sodium hypochlorite, which is either a relatively inexpensive solid that releases free chlorine when dissolved in water, or a liquid bleach that is typically generated on site using common salt and high voltage dissolved chlorine. Handling the solid requires greater routine human contact through opening bags and pouring than the use of gas cylinders, which are more easily automated. The generation of liquid sodium hypochlorite is both inexpensive and safer than the use of gas or solid chlorine. One drawback of using chlorine gas or sodium hypochlorite is that disinfection is normally the last step in purifying drinking water. Water is disinfected to kill any pathogen, disease-caused microorganisms that include viruses, bacteria, Escherichia coli, and protozoans, for example, Cryptosporidia. In most developed countries, public water supplies are required to maintain a residual disinfecting agent throughout the distribution system, in which water may remain for days before reaching the consumer. The water is usually held in temporary storage tank, often known as contact tank or clear well, to allow the disinfecting action to accomplish. Chlorination, the most common disinfection method, is some form of chlorine or its compounds such as chloramines or chlorine dioxide are used. Chlorine is a strong oxidizing agent that kills many microorganisms. Because chlorine is a toxic gas, there is a danger of a release associated with its use. This problem is avoided by the use of sodium hypochlorite, which is either a relatively inexpensive solid. This inexpensive solid, sodium hypochlorite, releases free chlorine when dissolved in water, or liquid bleach that is generated on site using common salt. Handling the solid requires greater routine human contact through the opening bags and pouring that than the use of gas cylinders, which are more easily automated. The generation of liquid sodium hypochlorite is both inexpensive and safer than the use of gas or solid chlorine. Both disinfectants are used despite their respective drawbacks. One drawback to using chlorine gas or sodium hypochlorite is that they react with organic compounds in water to form harmful chemical byproducts, trihalomethanes, haloestic acid, both of which are carcinogenic in large quantities and regulated by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The formation of trihalomethane and haloestic acid is minimized by effective removal of as many organics from water prior to chlorine addition. Although chlorine is effective in killing bacteria, but it has less effectiveness against protozoans that form cysts in water. Chlorine dioxide is another fast-acting disinfectant. It is used because it can create excessive amount of chlorate and chloride, both of which are regulated to low allowable levels. Chlorine dioxide also poses extreme risk in handling. It is also toxic gas. Chloramines are another chlorine-based disinfectant. Although chloramines are not as strong oxidant or provide a reliable residual as compared to chlorine gas or sodium hypochlorite, they less formed byproducts as trihalomethane and haloestic acid. It is possible to convert chlorine to chloramine by adding ammonia to water along with chlorine. The chlorine and ammonia react to form chloramine. Water distribution system disinfected with chloramine may experience nitrification, wherein ammonia is used as nitrogen source for bacterial growth, with nitrates being generated as byproduct. Ozonation. Ozone is unstable molecule, free radical of oxygen, which gives up one atom of oxygen, providing a powerful oxidizing agent. It is toxic to most waterborne organisms. It is a very strong broad spectrum disinfectant that is widely used in Europe. It is an effective method to inactivate harmful protozoan that form cysts on the surface of water. It works well against almost all other pathogens. Ozone is made up by passing oxygen through ultraviolet light or a cold electric discharge. To use ozone as a disinfectant, it must be created on site and added to water by bubble contact. Some of the advantages of ozone include production of relatively fewer dangerous byproducts in comparison to chlorination, as in chlorination harmful products are produced, and the lack of taste and odor produced by ozonation. Although fewer byproducts are formed by ozonation, it has been discovered that the use of ozone produces a small amount of carcinogen bromate. Little bromate should be present in treated water. Another one of the main disadvantages of ozone is that it leaves no disinfectant residue in water. Ozone has been used in drinking water plants since 1906, where the first industrial ozonation plant was built in Nice, France. The US Food and Drug Administration has accepted ozone as being safe, and it is applied as antimicrobial agent for the treatment, storage and processing of food. UV radiation. UV radiation is very effective at inactivating cyst which is formed on the surface of water. As long as water has low level of color, so the UV radiation can pass through without being absorbed. The main disadvantage to use of UV radiation is that, like ozone treatment, it leaves no residual disinfectant into water. Because neither ozone nor UV radiation leaves a residual disinfectant in water, it is sometimes necessary to add a residual disinfectant after they are used. This is often done through addition of chloramines discussed above as primary disinfectant. When used in this manner, chloramine provide an effective residual disinfectant with a very little of negative aspect of chlorination. Fluoridation in many areas, fluoride is added to water for the purpose of preventing tooth decay. As this process is referred to as water fluoridation, fluoride is added after the process of disinfection. In United States, fluoridation is accomplished by the addition of hexafluorosalicylic acid, which decompose in water yielding fluoridine. Also, fluoride is added to water in many areas. However, excessive level of natural fluoride in source water can be toxic or cause undesirable cosmetic effects such as staining of teeth. One method of reducing fluoride level is through treatment with activated alumina. Now the water conditioning. This is a method of reducing the effect of hard water. Hardness salts are deposited in water system subject to heating because decomposition of bicarbonate ions creates carbonate ions which crystallize out of saturated solution of calcium or magnesium carbonate. Water with high concentration of hardness salts can be treated with soda ash, sodium carbonate, which precipitate out the excess salts through the common ion effect, producing calcium carbonate of very high purity. As in this equation, treatment with calcium carbonate causes the precipitation of excess salts. Now the next, in the area with naturally acidic water of low conductivity, that is surface rainfall in upland mountains of igneous rocks, the water may be capable of dissolving lead from lead pipes. The addition of small quantities of phosphate iron and increasing the pH slightly both assist in reducing the lead by creating insoluble lead salts on the inner surface of pipes. This is known as Plumbo solvency reduction. Some groundwater sources also contain radium, a radioactive chemical element. Typical sources include many groundwater sources. Radium can be removed by ion exchange method or by water conditioning method mentioned above. The backflush or sludge that is produced a low level radioactive waste. The treatment of radioactive waste by ion exchange method, as ion exchange method have been discussed in previous slides, and radionuclide also discussed in detail in previous slides. Boiling. Water is boiled for a sufficient duration to inactivate microorganisms that normally live in water at room temperature. Near sea level, a vigorous rolling boil for at least 1 minute is sufficient. At high altitude, higher than 2 km or 5000 feet, 3 minutes is recommended. In areas where water is hard, that is containing significant concentration of dissolved calcium salts, boiling decompose the bicarbonate ions, resulting in the partial precipitation as calcium carbonate. This is the fur that builds up on kettle elements in hard water areas. Boiling doesn't leave residual disinfectant in water. Distillation involves boiling the water to produce water vapor. The vapor contacts a cool surface where it condenses as a liquid. Because the solutes are not normally vaporized, they remain in boiling solution. Even distillation doesn't completely purify water. because of contaminants with similar boiling points and droplets of unvaporized liquid carried with the steam. However, 99.9% pure water can be obtained by distillation. Reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is the mechanical pressure is applied to an impure solution to force pure water through semi-permeable membrane. Reverse osmosis is the most reliable method for water purification, although using perfect semi-permeable membrane. Although perfect semi-permeable membrane is difficult to create, unless membranes are well maintained, algae and other life forms can colonize the membrane. Ion exchange method. Most common ion exchange system use zeolite resin bed to replace unwanted calcium and magnesium ion. This is common water softener. Ion exchange resins, basically two types of the resins, cation exchange resins and anion exchange resins. Cation exchange resins that itself has negative charge and exchange of the cations takes place, and anion exchange resins on the resin itself having the positive charge and exchange of the anions takes place. Both are used for water purification process, and detail of this ion exchange resins have been mentioned in previous lecture number 12 and 11. Electrode ionization. Water is passed between a positive electrode and a negative electrode. Ion selective membranes allow the positive ions to separate from the water towards the negative electrode and negative ions towards the positive electrode. High purity deionized water results. The water is usually passed through a reverse osmosis until first to remove non-ionic organic contaminants. Carbon filtering. Charcoal, a form of carbon with high surface area, absorb many compounds including some toxic compounds. Water passing through activated charcoal is common in household water filters and fish tanks. Household filters for drinking water sometimes contain silver, which have antibacterial effects. Carbon fiber is fibrous carbon substance having a fine graphite crystal structure, which is composed mainly by carbon and manufactured by carbonizing acryl fiber by special heat treatment process. It is generally said to light, strong, corrosion resistant, advanced functional material. It is used in diverse applications. Carbon fiber is manufactured by enlarging surface area of carbon fiber by activating treatment. Activated carbon fiber is applied for various products as advanced adsorption material. Carbon fiber, which is used for use as water purification material, are given in special surface treatment. It is manufactured by carbonizing polyacryl nitrile, which is manufactured to cause the fiber to expand in water, different from general industrial use. Carbon fiber for water purification consists of bundles of 12,000 or 15,000 ultra fine 7 micron meter filaments. Water purification using carbon fiber is economical, effective method, and it is low environmental impact. Active biofilms are formed by high bioaffinity of carbon fiber, and its microorganisms decompose contaminants. Carbon fiber activates microorganisms. Carbon fiber basically is performed by pollutant capturing ability from large surface area of carbon fibers, ultra fine filaments, and biofilm formed or produced by effective microorganism decompose pollutants. This mechanism of water purification is a biofilm treatment method, which is one of the wastewater treatment methods using carbon fiber as a contact media. Each fiber of carbon fiber expands in water. Pollutants and microorganisms in the water are adsorbed. Adhered microorganisms form active biofilm and decompose pollutants. In this diagram, use of the carbon fiber basically to remove the pollutant from the wastewater, or it is helpful in water purification process. Carbon fiber is a fibrous carbon substance having a fine graphite crystal structure. Each fiber of carbon fiber expands into water. Pollutants and microorganisms present in the water are adsorbed onto the surface of the carbon fiber. These adhered microorganisms form an active biofilm known as microbial film and decompose the pollutant and convert into the product as organic matter containing acetic acid in the presence of anaerobic bacteria, conversion into methane, carbon dioxide. Similarly, denitrifying bacteria, which are sulfur reducing bacteria, conversion of organic matter containing nitric acid into nitrogen, carbon dioxide and cells. Chemoautotrophic bacteria cause the conversion of ammonium ion in the presence of oxygen into nitrate, and aerobic bacteria, that is protozoa, conversion of organic matter in the presence of oxygen, as these are aerobic bacteria, uses oxygen and conversion into carbon dioxide. All these processes are used to remove the pollutant from the wastewater or any type of the water, saline water, industrial water, urban runoff, agricultural runoff. Environmental water quality, also called ambient water quality, relates to water bodies such as lakes, rivers, oceans. Water quality standards for surface water vary significantly due to different environmental conditions, ecosystem and intended human uses. Toxic substances in high population of certain microorganisms can present a health hazard for non-drinking purposes such as irrigation, swimming, fishing, boating and industrial uses. These conditions may also affect wildlife which use the water for drinking. Water quality purification using carbon fiber is effective in improvement of transparency in short time as it decreases chemical oxygen demand, biological oxygen demand and purification of total nitrogen and total phosphorus. The table 1 presents the removal rate of water quality purification using carbon filter. Water quality refers to the chemical, physical, biological and radiological characteristics of water. It is measure of the condition of water relative to the requirement of one or more biotic species to any human need or purpose. It is most frequently used by reference to set of standards against which compliance, generally achieved through treatment of water, can be assessed. The most common standards used to assess water quality relate to health of ecosystem, safety of human contact and drinking water, include alkalinity water, color of water, pH, taste and odor, dissolved metals and salts, microorganisms, dissolved organics, dissolved metal and metallides, heavy metal, pharmaceutical and hormones analogues. The World Health Organization published guidelines for drinking water quality. The International Organization for Standardization also published regulation of water quality ranging from water sampling, drinking water, industrial class water, sewage, An examination of water for chemical, physical or biological properties. Contaminants that may be in untreated water include microorganisms such as viruses, protozoa, bacteria, inorganic contaminants such as salts, metals, organic chemical contaminants from industrial processes and petroleum use, pesticides and herbicides, radioactive contaminants. Water quality depends on the local geology and ecosystem as well as human uses such as sewage dispersion, industrial pollution, use of water bodies such as heat sinks and overuse. The United States Environmental Protection Agency limits the amount of certain contaminants in tap water provided by US public water systems. The Safe Drinking Water Act authorized Environmental Protection Agency to issue two types of standards: primary standards and secondary standards. Primary standards that regulate substances that potentially affect human health. Secondary standards prescribe aesthetic qualities, those that affect taste, odor or appearance. The US Food and Drug Administration regulation established limits for contaminants in bottled water that must provide the same protection for public health. Drinking water, including bottled water, may reasonably be expected to contain at least small amount of some contaminants. The presence of these contaminants doesn't indicate that the water poses a health hazard. Effect in urbanized areas around the water purification technology is used in municipal water systems to remove contaminants from the source water, surface water or groundwater before it is distributed to homes, business, school. Water drawn directly from a stream, lake or aquifer that has no treatment will be of uncertain quality.